I'm here to help Innovate Mississippi celebrate its 17th year of holding this conference. It's all about creativity, innovation. It's about getting our creative juices flowing, getting inspired to be more creative, innovative, and transformative for Mississippi's economy. I think that the speaker today, Bill Rayburn, just knocked it out of the park.
I came to find out more about Innovate Mississippi and to see the opportunities that are available and the support that they provide to various groups around the state and really just learn more about them.
We're talking about changing the world. We're talking about entrepreneurship, creating jobs in Mississippi. We're talking about making Mississippi a better place to live, and we're really making the entire country a better place to live through innovation. There are two kinds of innovation. The first kind is doing something new, and the second kind is doing what you do today but doing it better. And that's true for every walk of life in the public sector, in state government, local government. Doing something better, more efficiently, is good for all of us, number one. And number two, when people come up with new, innovative things, that makes our quality of life better. It gives us more time to do the things we want to do.
And I first want to thank Mayor Flint for his welcoming remarks and invocation, and Rich Sun for leading the Pledge of Allegiance and for his remarks as well. And I'd also like to recognize and thank the elected officials who joined us here today. Many of you here for breakfast this morning saw United States Congressman Greg Harper speak with us. I've seen, I don't know which of them are still here, but I'll recognize if I could ask you to stand briefly. Representative Corey Wilson, Senator Sally Doty, Senator John Horn, Senator Walter Michel, and Canton Mayor Arnell Bolden, and any other elected, and we have representatives from the Lieutenant Governor's office and the Governor's office as well. Any other elected officials I failed to recognize, I apologize, but please stand up. Oh, Ashby Foote, City Councilman from Jackson. And any others, I apologize, but please stand to be recognized. And thank you so much for your efforts and for helping us lead innovation-led economic development here in the state of Mississippi. And you may have noticed some of the interactive displays, and if you didn't notice them around showing off, they're actually now at the Innovate Mississippi booth just outside this door. I would welcome you all to go look. But some of the folks responsible for those interactive displays are here with us today, and they're from Brown Elementary School in Jackson. And their creations are part of an innovation contest at Brown Elementary, where they've explored the concepts of innovation, entrepreneurship, and problem solving through discussions of existing and imagined inventions. And the contest is just one of the many aspects of the STEAM programs, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, administered by the Center for Education Innovation and funded by the Toyota USA Foundation through a 3-year grant to Brown Elementary School. I'd like to thank especially Ms. Courtney Sheriff, the school principal, Dr. Darko Saranac and Catherine Saranac, who not only teach STEM at Brown, but are also building a makerspace within the school and in the community. Please join me, if y'all could please stand, and please join me in applauding these very talented digital artists. And again, their displays, which are digital, are on the booth for Innovate Mississippi just outside the door. I'd certainly welcome you all to go take a look when you leave the luncheon today. Next, it's my honor to announce the recipient of the 2016 John I. Rucker Community Innovation Leadership Award. And Innovate Mississippi formed this award many years ago to recognize the outstanding efforts that have been through partnerships of government, academia, and the private sector that successfully drive innovation-led economic development and support the state's economy, creativity, and job growth. The annual award is named in honor of the late John Rucker, who served a decade as executive director of the Oktibbeha County Economic Development Authority, laying the ground for technology-based economic development in that area in conjunction with Mississippi State University. He was a visionary leader and economic developer and a good friend to Innovate Mississippi. This year, the John I. Rucker Community Innovation Leadership Award is presented to John Maynard, President and CEO of the Oxford-Lafayette County Economic Development Foundation. Oxford has become a major hub for entrepreneurial activity in the state, and that's in large part due to the work of John Maynard and the Oxford-Lafayette County Economic Development Foundation. John's ability to collaborate with the University of Mississippi and the business community in fostering an environment where entrepreneurs not only grow their companies but have a support system in place to do so has been both substantial and significant. And at this time, we'd like to ask John to come forward and accept the prestigious award. Congratulations, John. It's now my distinct honor to introduce Mrs. Jan Farrington, a member of Innovate Mississippi's Board of Directors, our past chairwoman of our board. And for many of you know, we recently had the Mississippi Innovators Hall of Fame induction, and Jan hosted that event for the fifth time. She's really been the only host we've had for the Innovators Hall of Fame. Tremendous event with a great new class of inductees, and I can't thank Jan enough for all of the time she's spent helping Innovate Mississippi over the years. And please join me in welcoming Jan Farrington, who's going to introduce our featured keynote speaker.
Well, thank you, Tony. It is actually a fantastic pleasure for me to introduce Bill Rayburn to you today. For those of you who know Bill, you know that fantastic is his favorite word in the English language. And rightly so, because he's a fantastic person. I met Bill in the late 1990s when he was a professor in the School of Business at the University of Mississippi. At the time of our first meeting, my husband Lawrence and I totally were impressed with Bill's energy, his intellect, his vision, his work ethic, his positive attitude, his ability to get things done, and his entrepreneurial spirit. Along with 3 other professors, he was in the process of starting a new company which had already been named FNC Inc. And for those of you who do not know, FNC stands for Financial Neural Computing. But within the FNC family, it was always lovingly called For Nerds Computing. From those humble beginnings, Bill and his partners built a fantastic international company. Throughout this process, Bill was at the helm as CEO, leading and guiding in his own unique way. As most of you do know, earlier this year, FNC sold to a publicly traded company, CoreLogic. Now, a lot of people at that point in their lives would fold their tent, retire, take their money, and live happily ever after. But not Bill Rayburn. With equal energy, vision, and determination, Bill has already started another company in the mortgage trade industry, and that is M-Trade Inc. Now, I could bore you with a lot of stuffy information about his degrees, like a PhD in finance, but that would not truly describe nor prepare you for the person that you're about to hear. Many of his former students have told me that of all the professors they ever had, Bill was the most memorable. They also told me that they learned so much and that he inspired them. He's pretty irrepressible, so today you're in for a wild ride. He is with us to share tales from the trails from his own personal journey. So hang on and buckle up for the ride. It's sure to be thrilling. And join me in welcoming our guest speaker and my dear friend, Bill Rayburn.
How many of you would do that? A few of you would do that because you think that was like fun. There is a lot of math that goes into that. Everything is rehearsed. Everything is calculated. That is called base jumping. You just can't go do that. You have to have a license to go do that. And that is one of the most viewed videos on YouTube. That is Jeff Corliss. We'll talk about how he's an entrepreneur and the things you have to do as an entrepreneur that most people are not willing to do. And we're going to focus on that discussion. Now, some of the questions we get, what did FNC really do? In fact, I had an investor come up to me beforehand. I'm not going to name that person. And they said, I really don't know what FNC did, but I'm glad I got in it. So what did we do and that sort of thing? Now folks, I'm about moonshots. A moonshot is you're after a big score. Here's what FNC did. How many of you in here have a mortgage on your house? How about raise your hand? You got a mortgage? Raise your hand. That's fantastic. That means you're motivated every morning to get out of that bed because you have to pay that mortgage. That's fantastic. All right? Number one, to make you that mortgage, your lender had to get to two numbers. I'm not a Longhorn graduate. This is my gesture for two. You've got to get a credit number on you. That's a FICO score invented by a company called Fair Isaac & Company, and a collateral number on the property. FNC invented the way to take an appraisal, pop it open, pull the data out, and score it. It's the first time a bank had an objective risk measurement of the risk in that appraisal that you got on your house. And so guess what? A bunch of people bought it. A bunch of banks bought it. And that was great. And somebody came along with what's called a BBOC. Where are you from? Raymond. Like you came a long way to come today. That's good, all right? You know what a BBOC is? It stands for a big bag of cash, all right? Somebody came along with a BBOC and gave it to us, and we made it the proud owner. That's great. What does mortgage trade do? I get this question commonly. We're going to talk about today. Here's what mortgage trade does. When somebody made you that loan, the lender needed to liquefy their balance sheet. They needed to turn that mortgage into cash. And those mortgages are traded. The average mortgage changes hands 5 times. You may have been notified where yours changed hands. You've got to have something to relate to people's experiences. How many of you have been on eBay? Been on eBay? Several people have been on eBay. Some buyers, some sellers. My guess is most of you have been buyers on eBay. Mortgage trade is building this eBay for mortgages. That's what it is. And our website is intrade.com. Now, what we're going to do is talk about some things as we get rolling today. And one of the things we want to talk about, there are several different types of people here. I've got some students here. I had some elementary students and some other students earlier. Some want their first job. Some are out here want to be in a family business. Some want to start something new. And some believe they can change the world. I hope there's at least one person here that believes they can change the world. And today's discussion is going to be about that. Today's discussion is going to be about, I'll get it right in a minute. It's going to be about hitting a home run. The next 30 minutes is going to be about hitting a home run. I'd love to tell you that I planned for Game 7 of the World Series to be today. And it's tonight. Because we're going to talk about, the title of my chat, our discussion in the next few minutes, is striking out. To strike out. People say, I don't want to strike out. When I was a little kid playing Little League Baseball, I was afraid of the ball. You have got to stand at the plate and swing for the fences as an entrepreneur. And that's where you have the greatest risk of striking out. Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk about changing the world. And there's a lot of ways to change the world. People say, I need an idea. Let's call it idea in Mississippi. I need an idea. I don't have an idea. Folks, there have been more innovations done on that water glass. You see that water glass? You see the water in there? I paid $5 for a bottle of water at the Los Angeles airport yesterday. All right? $5. People sell you colored water, vitamin water. They sell you all kinds of water, frozen water. It's all out there. I never thought I'd pay $5 for a bottle of water. You say it's free. Then why are they selling so much water? People perceive it to be good. They perceive it to have value. And we're talking in the next 30 minutes about folks going to change the world. Now, having said that, one of the questions I got earlier, I'm too old to change the world. I got a comment. I changed my presentation this morning. I went back to my hotel room and changed my presentation. One of the comments I got was, I'm too old to do a New Deal. This gentleman started at 65. Actually, he was officially 62, but when he really got going, he was beyond even 65. And you know his picture. And he built a big company, but he was nothing compared to this person. And many of you don't even know who this is. This is a native Mississippian, one of the wealthiest people in the United States. Native Mississippi. At one time, he owned the Charlotte Bobcats. His name is Robert L. Johnson. He was born in Hickory, Mississippi. And look, we got lots of competition, lots of changes. Let's talk about technology. Where are you from? Goshen. These are not hard questions, okay? All right. So let's talk about it a second, okay? Let's talk about it. Now, are you into technology? Somewhat. And I went home and I asked, I got a son. I got 2 sons and a daughter. I got a son. My youngest child, is a math major here at Millsaps. And I went home and his name is Robert. I said, Robert, keep me up on what's going on with technology. I said, your dad's got white hair. I said, keep me up on what's going on. He said, do you have a Facebook account? I said, yes. He said, that's about the technology for old people. All right? He said, do you have a Snapchat account? I said, tell me what Snapchat is. You know what Snapchat is? It's sexy. All right? It's sexy. And I said, I don't know what that is. He said, well, like I said, we have a technology account for old people. All right? And so, do do you know about Pinterest, and do you know about Instagram, and these other things? And he taught me through those things and their uses. My competition today for your attention is not something else going on outside of here. My competition for your attention is right here. It is you. I look around the room and everybody, it's not a criticism, it's just a fact in life today. It's a world fact. It is not an American fact. You're looking at what's going on because we have become an immediate society. Tell me why the world's largest retailer is headquartered in Bentonville, Arkansas.
That's right.
That is not the technology capital of the world. And tell me why the world's biggest investor is located in Omaha, Nebraska. That also is not the technology capital of the world. It's not. I'm sure Ashby can answer that question for me, but why is Warren Buffett in Omaha, Nebraska? If you don't know who Warren Buffett is, that's a whole other discussion. Get out your phone and Google and you'll find out. All right? We don't go to the library anymore. We don't do that. Robert Johnson started BET Television, and one of the most successful entrepreneurs on the planet. So, let's talk about what we know about entrepreneurs. And you say, well, what does that mean to me? Let's talk about what we know about entrepreneurs. We know, number one, this is from Adam Grant's book. It was a big bestseller. You can download it basically on the Apple bookstore. Originals. Entrepreneurs, number one, care very little about social approval. If you care a lot about social approval, if that's important to you, you're probably not going to be an entrepreneur. This is across all disciplines. If you're worried about what people think, I mean, I want to tell you, you can look at my dress and tell me I'm not worried about what people think. I usually speak in a suit. It killed me to start out with, just a comfort figure to not speak in a suit. So I come down the elevator this morning, the first person I see is Mayo Flynn. He looks at me, he said, Bill, you look very Californian. I want to say, thank you, Mayo, I love you too, all right? But it was a compliment. It was a compliment because from a technology perspective, number one, out of Adam Grant's book, entrepreneurs across all disciplines, whether they're artists or whatever they've done, they care very little about social approval. Number two, they're wired to embrace uncertainty. What do I mean by that? How are we going to make payroll? I don't know. We'll figure it out. One of the things Dennis Kosh and I had to come up with is we had to come up with creative ways to make payroll. All right? We had to come up with creative ways to make payroll. I mean, we're going to talk more about business plans and that sort of thing. I know when I stand up and speak, some people cringe because you just get it unfiltered. All right? We're wired to embrace uncertainty. They are. And they're actually very risk averse. We looked at Jeff Corliss do that base jump, and you said, I will never do that. Guy's crazy. The math and calculations that went into that, everything was very calculated. Very calculated. I highly recommend this book, Originals, to you. It was a New York Times bestseller, and I highly recommend it to you. Great read. So you're asking, okay, that's great. By the way, some of you say, I'm not interested in doing a company. I'm not. I'm here to talk to people who want to change the world. So one of my folks at Mortgage Trade, my group right over here, asked me, what do you want to talk about? And what are you going to talk about? I hope I find 1, 2, 3, 5 people in here that want to change the world. So one of the questions is, how do I get started? If I want to do my own gig, how do I get started? Number one, you got to find a big market. There are lots of big markets. Everybody needs water. Everybody needs air. I mean, there are lots of things that everyone needs. The biggest tradable market in the world is the U.S. mortgage market. And if you get a little piece of a big market, you know, a rising tide raises all boats. You get a little piece of a big market, you're good to go. You got to find a need. In the 2008 financial crisis, here's what used to happen. When you went to your bank, I'm going to talk a little bit about, I've got some bankers in here probably. I want to talk a little bit about school. When you went to your bank, before 2008, they underwrote your loan.
And there's a concept called delegated underwriting. Everybody else in the U.S. financial community relied on that local bank's underwriting. So when they underwrote that loan, everybody said, we're good. Well, let's talk about being jilted. Where are you from? Richard. Have you ever been jilted? Now think back in high school, college, that sort of thing. Have you ever been jilted? It's a yes or no kind of question. Yes, okay. How long did it take you to get over being jilted? A second. Well, you weren't really jilted, okay? All right. Now, look, there's a dumper and a dumpee. It's better to be the dumper than the dumpee. Okay, I got it, okay? Suppose you would manage a bunch of people's money. And 2008 came along, and you say, it actually all started with some fund manager in Sweden. And they started looking at their portfolio, and they had all of these asset-backed securities, these CDOs, collateralized debt obligations, and these collateralized mortgage obligations, and they said, what are they worth? And one day they decided they had no idea, and nor did anybody else. And so they said, I got to sell. And about that time, everybody tried to sell, and all of a sudden, some folks realized they had been lied to. All right? And that causes what is known in finance as the major pucker factor. All right? And when you get the major pucker factor in finance, you don't want to do business with anybody else. So you don't trust anybody. I'm going to redo it all myself because I don't trust anybody. So that bank in Oxford gets ready to sell that mortgage. They're going to sell somebody in Jackson. Somebody in Jackson going to re-underwrite the whole thing. And then they're going to sell somebody in Birmingham. Somebody in Birmingham going to sell somebody in Charlotte. And they're going to re-underwrite it every time. That is called a market need. That is a mess. And every time you find a mess, I'm going to tell you some messes. These are opportunities for entrepreneurs. Getting paid, if you're a physician, talk to any physician or healthcare practitioner, getting paid by their insurance company is a mess. When there is pain, there is opportunity for gain. That's right. So what you need to do is look at pain as a chance. Some of the worst service in the universe is on the airlines. There's more chance of. I heard this woman in front of me yesterday flying back from the West Coast said, I'll never fly this aircraft, this airline again. And I said, I swore all airlines off at least twice. All right? At least twice. Because they're horrendous in terms of their customer service. If you don't believe it, you just get stuck somewhere and find out how you're going to get home. All right? There's a huge need. A huge need. And then what you have to do is find customers that will pay. You got to find customers that will pay. People say, I do this, I do that. That's great. Will your customers pay for it? That's the key. So let's move to the next topic and talk about something related. Oh, this college problems. Oh my goodness. Build a pitch book that tells your story. Now, I'm not a business plan kind of guy. Bankers want business plans. I have never had an investor, ever had an investor ask me for a business plan. I've got my two biggest investors sitting right now here at this table. And with them as a witness, they have never asked for a business plan. They've asked for a pitch book. Ole Miss ought to have a pitch book. Mississippi State ought to have a pitch book. Southern Miss ought to have a pitch book. It ought to tell your story. What are you doing? And it's hard to write a 10-page pitch book. It's hard. I had a bunch of slides. I had like 45 slides for this presentation. I tried to get them down to 15. I think I got them down to 12, not including the intro. So you've got to, why is that important? When I was in the PhD program, I had a professor walk in, bright guy. He was a graduate student for Nobel Art. He walked in, he said, I want you to tell us if you can beat the market, the stock market, by actively investing, by actively trading. Now, there were probably 400 academic articles on that topic on the day he told us that. He said, I want you to tell us if you can beat the market. And I want you to do it in 5 double-spaced pages. So you had to synthesize what was important. The FNC business model was on one slide. We were pipes, data, and analytics. And that came from an investment banking presentation. Somebody said, We've always been on the pad. We wanted to go to the moon, but we never did. I wrote down pad, pipes, analytics, and data. We changed it to pipes, data, and analytics. So you have to appropriate when people tell you things and make that part of your story. But a pitch book, about 10 pages or more, gets people focused. It helps them relate. I asked you earlier, how many of you been on eBay? And all of you raise your hand. Just about everybody raise your hand. You understand eBay. It has to be something people can relate to. So what are you doing? The Coding Academy up in Water Valley that Kagan talked about this morning. They're going to help people learn to program. And folks, I think in the future, the skills that you have are what's going to set you apart, and that's going to be a necessary skill going forward. Business plans for bankers. That's who they are. I have never had an investor, ever. I had 371 investors at FNC, and I've asked every wealthy family, and some not that I didn't know was wealthy or not wealthy, for money. Everyone. At least twice. I've still got my tin cup in my office. I've asked them all for money. Why? Because you've got to make payroll. They always want to see a pitch book, a 10-page, 12-page pitch book. All investors ask me 3 questions. 3 questions, pretty common if they invested and they want an answer. What are you going to give me? What do you want out of me? And what are you going to give me? So, what am I going to get? And what do you want out of me? That was 1. 2, how are you going to get me out? You have no clue how you're going to get them out. Okay? You have absolutely no clue how you're going to get an investor out. You have none. You tell them, oh, we're going to have, I said, oh, we're going to have exit event in 3 years. That was 15 years ago. Okay? We're going to have exit event in 3 years. We're going public. You have no clue if you're going to go public or not. All right? But what we're going to do is grow the business. What do investors want? They want you to grow. They want you to grow. Don't lollygag around. Way too many people want to have a lifestyle business. In fact, about halfway in, Jan Farrington came to me and she said, you going to get this growth reignited, or is this going to be a lifestyle business? And I had to get it reignited. You got to get it going. We survived the financial crash in 2008. Had to lay off half our staff. That's why my hair's white. And had to lay off half our staff. I mean, those are painful lessons. You got to do all that. And you know what? Every investor we had stuck with us because we had a plan. You got to have a plan. They'll see that in the pitch book. So they want to know, what are you going to give me? What am I going to get? Number 2, they want to know how you're going to get me out. And number 3, they want to know, if you get run over by a bus tonight on the way home, they're not investing in some fancy business model. They're not investing in some product. They're investing in you. And don't ever forget that. And so where are you going to raise money to start out with? People, that's a big question entrepreneurs have. Where am I going to get the money to start? I'm here to tell you, if you think it's going to come from a bank, you are smoking crack. All right? It ain't coming from a bank. All right? Banks loan on assets. All right? I got a bunch of bankers that are friends. My clients are bankers. All right? I mean, B of A, JP Morgan Chase, U.S. Bank, Wells, they're all clients. All right? Bankers are my clients. They're not going to loan you something on a business plan. When we were cruising along and got in trouble, one of my investors was Pete Boone. Pete Boone said there are only 2 banks in the South that make loans on cash flow. And I talked to both of them. All right? The point is, where are you going to get the money? It's going to come, the initial round is going to come from friends and family. Your friends and family are going to believe in you, going to put money in you. And if they won't do it, I guarantee you, nobody else is either. All right? And then the second round is going to come from angels, like the Farrington. They're called angels because you get on your knees and say, thank God you sent them to me because I need to make payroll. Okay? They want to see a pitch book. They want to see a plan. Business plans are for bankers. Never forget that. You get all this bull about it. You got to have a business plan. We didn't have a business plan at FNC until we were like 7 or 8 years in. We didn't need one because no bank loans any money. All right. Where do you focus? You got to raise money and make sales. That's all that counts, folks. You got to go raise money. That's your lifeblood. You got to go raise money and make sales. Raise money and make sales. That's 1. 2. You got to listen to customers. Yeah, I was surprised when they threw rocks at me. Everybody at the university, a lot of them are my personal friends, pretty much threw rocks at me. They laughed at me. all right? But they were laughing at Dennis, John, and Bob, too. They didn't single me out, okay? They laughed at me. Now, they're not laughing now, but they were then, all right? And it's not just me. Basically, when you are trying to change the world, we invented the way collateral risk analysis is done today in all the major banks. We invented it. Well, I was just a storyteller. Bob and John invented it. Dennis took care of the money, and that's how we did it, all right? But the point is that along the way, we had a bunch of rock throwers, all right? A bunch of rock throwers. Nobody jumped up. I mean, the Farringtons did, and a bunch of investors did, but a lot of other people threw rocks, all right? And hire smart employees, people that are smarter than you, different from you. And you say, well, how do I know that? Well, if you're a conservative Republican, partner with a liberal Democrat. And if you're a liberal Democrat, partner with a conservative Republican. And the reason is, Bob Dorsey and I used to go like that. So we were on opposite ends of the spectrum, but it was great for the company. Our people a lot of times couldn't understand it, but it was great for the company because it made us better. We're going to pay, he fussed about the commission we paid salespeople. Fuss. I said, okay, we'll do it your way. He said, no, I have no courage in my convictions. You got to check your ego at the door. You got to check it at the door. Most people will tell you what's wrong. They're good at telling you what's wrong. University, look, I'm talking about the brethren here. The university is full of people that will tell you what is wrong with your deal. They can't go fix it, but they will tell you what's wrong with it. All right? They are the world experts to tell you what's wrong. Oh, you don't have to have a PhD. You don't have to have a PhD. Build a company. That is not required. In fact, if you look at the world's most successful entrepreneurs, most of them never finished college. All right? Because they didn't learn what they couldn't do. All right? That wouldn't work. People you need to listen to, people invest in you and pay you money. Here's how software development is done. It's all changed. It used to be waterfall analysis. I was talking to Mike Forrester, who's up there at the mortgage trade table. He's going to be the new head after Rich steps down of Innovate Mississippi. Mike's going to take over. And basically, he was talking about how he used to be with IBM. Unfortunately, he's a Mississippi State graduate. Unfortunately, I don't know. By the way, mortgage trading block junior employer, we got about half state, half Ole Miss people in our management ranks. Having said all that, we're talking about how software development used to be done. And the way it used to be done is waterfall. You just lay out what you're going to do, and you build it. Now it's not the way it's done at all. If you're in the consumer space, business to consumer, they do what's called A/B testing. Let's talk about that 1 second. How many of you been to the eye doctor? You been to the eye doctor? All right. What does the eye doctor say? Does this look better, or does this look better? Does this look better? Does this look better? That's the way consumer software is built. So Facebook will come out with 2 versions. Is this better or this better? And they'll have people vote. And if this one is better, they'll kill off this one and redo it. And then they'll say, is this new version of A better or is B still better? And that's how they morph in business to consumer. In business to business, it's called agile programming. You are on a development cycle every 2 weeks. And you're doing pushes every 2-3 weeks. And it's very quick, rapid development. And that's the way it's done. And so the way you do that is you listen to customers. People get all enamored in getting their product right. I'll tell you something. Customers will tell you if your product's any good or not. How will they tell you? They'll spend money. The other day we were at a presentation and a big bank said, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to do it. But if you'll do this, this, and this, and this, we'll buy it. I said, how much you pay for it? And they told me. And that's what we're doing right now. You've got to listen to your customers. It's not a hard thing to do. But people get so wrapped around an axle emotionally. Oh, no, that's my baby. I'm not going to change it. That is called stupid. All right. What about passion? People say someone's got a lot of passion. Eric Schmidt. You don't know who Eric Schmidt is. Eric Schmidt's been the CEO and now executive chairman of Google. Pretty good company. Very profitable. He said passionate people don't wear the passion in their sleeves, they wear it in their heart. They're in their office 30 hours at a pop. They're working. They have a lot of passion in what they do.
You say, what creates value? Does the business plan create value? No. Does the business model create value? No. Does the product create value? No. Customers that spend money create value. Never forget that. Customers that spend money create value. You got lots of customers and a lot of cash flow coming through, you're going to have lots of value. And everybody's going to want to talk to you. I was so hurt. I had this business going and it was cruising along and that sort of thing, and nobody on these big private equity firms and venture capital firms want to talk to me. They would not come to Mississippi. The second I went cash flow positive, they all showed up. All the Boston firm, New York firm, they're all here. We love you. I said, where have you been? Of course, if they didn't love you when you were struggling, you don't love them when you're booming. And we did not take any of we took not one dime of institutional money. Not one dime. We talked about it, thought about it. But it didn't happen because they didn't love us when we were out in the vineyard toiling away. As an entrepreneur, you never forget those things. So what I'd like to say to you is it's time. You say, how old do I need to be? Or I'm too old, or I'm too this, or I'm too that, or I got too many children. The time is now. I'm 58 years old. I'm starting over. I could go retire. We made a lick on that FNC deal. That's yesterday's news. All right? I'm starting over. We're building a company. We're starting over. I'm out hustling for raising money and that sort of thing. I'm asking Farrington for money. Everybody else. Listen to me. The reason is it's about adding value, changing the world, creating jobs. And you get down sometimes. You get down because people beat on you. And so the way I'm going to close today is with a poem from Emerson. And it's about your attitude. The thing that'll go the farthest toward making life worthwhile, that's worth the most and costs the least, is just a pleasant smile. It is full of worth and goodness too, with manly kindness blend. It is worth $1 million, and it doesn't cost a cent. Strike it out on your own and change the world. You all have a fantastic day.
What types of benefits do conferences and events such as this have to offer?
Well, it brings creative people together, first of all, and it brings people who are of a mindset to stop doing things the way we've always done it and to look for opportunity through innovation, whether it's technology or otherwise. Bill Rayburn did a great job of talking about the fact that you have to go against the tide a lot of times. You have to swing for the fences and be a risk taker. We need more risk takers in our economy if we're going to grow Mississippi's economy today.
There are several companies doing big things in Mississippi. In Meridian, you've got PV Electronics changing the world in the music industry. In Laurel, you've got Sanderson Farms doing the same thing in the chicken industry. You've got Howard Industries in computers. We're in financial technology and software, and we invented the way at FNC to basically take an appraisal, open it up, pull the data out and score it, and nearly every big bank has bought that. And so that's just a few of the ways we've changed the world.
Mississippi clearly is the best place to do business. The environment is perfect for business here. There's a low cost of living. We have lots of people that are on board. You have local, state, and federal government officials that are supportive of business development and those opportunities. We have the lowest tax rate that you can find anywhere. So we know that we're set up that way. We also have universities and community colleges that are doing a great job on training and giving those opportunities. So when you look at some of the incubators that are there on some of our university campuses and the success stories that those have brought, and you look at the innovation that we have not just in industry and the Internet of Things, but also look at healthcare. Look at the great job that Mississippi has done through the University of Mississippi Medical Center on telehealth issues to help address physician shortages in this state. And these are things that draw people to our state and create that environment to allow people to succeed in business.
I think the successes that we've had in Mississippi, it is so impressive to hear different startups and different entrepreneurs. I was listening to the competition that they had, the Shark Tank type competition they had, and they were telling me about the third place winner was this incredible idea, and I thought, if that's the third place winner, what's the first place winner, you know? So I just think we have a lot of opportunities here in Mississippi. We have such creative, smart folks here, and we need to support them in order to grow our economy, in order to have a better workforce, and that's what I'm looking for as in government in Mississippi.
Grow and innovate.
Well, I think we can be supportive of efforts such as this, and I think it's all about certainly the present, but also the future. You know, we've got to get out to our schools, and I was just having a conversation with someone from Mississippi State, and they're providing some resources for schools to learn more about coding and different aspects, because technology is the future. It is right here. None of us can live without our smartphone in our hands. And we've got to be supportive. And, from a legislative standpoint, that may be supporting, different programs through our appropriations process. But I think we've got to be open to that and realize we've got to support this technology and entrepreneurship. It's really the future of our state.
We first need to put our focus on it and put resources towards it. We don't give Innovate Mississippi enough in the way of state support for what they're trying to do. We don't encourage as much private sector investment in this as we should probably be doing. We need to create places where this innovation can take place that are friendly to young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general, whether it's office space, whether it's the technical infrastructure, whether it's putting the kinds of angel resources in place that will help folks with great ideas get off the ground. I was pleased to see that there was a lot of diversity in the room. There were a lot of women. There were a lot of persons of color. We even had an elementary school president that was showing how it is using its own school experience to foster more innovation. So I'm very encouraged by all of that.
The main thing I hope everybody takes from this conference is I hope they say, if that guy can do it, I can do it. In other words, I'm going to go out and do it, and I'm going to make things happen.